Today, we are rebuilding the Watts 007 M3 3/4 inch double check valve backflow assembly. I will show you how to replace the complete kit, which I recommend on Watts products, but I'll also show you a bit on how to replace a basic rubber kit. Make sure to stay until the end to get a full demonstration on how to properly field test the double check backflow assembly. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you want to get more backflow related content. Okay, let's get to it.
Alright everyone, today we're doing the Watts LF99 M3 rebuild. This one we're going to do a complete hardware kit on here. I actually recommend kind of always doing these on just 007s, 009s all together, because whenever you're taking checks out and stuff, you could end up breaking them, or at least have some spare parts like this with you on your truck. So first thing we're going to do, obviously notify, identify, inspect, and observe. We've already talked to the tenant. Let them know to put the fire system on test just in case, even though we don't need to do that since we're not testing the main fire valves. We're just repairing the bypass here. So first thing we got to do is isolate the valve by shutting off the number 2 shutoff valve, shut off the number 1 shutoff valve, and then we're going to remove these caps, set those aside, get a screwdriver. I'll open up the number 2 test cock first just to make sure my pressure coming in is fully shut down, and then I'll go number 2 and number 4. I do that the same for every backflow. Once I open up number 3 for an RP, the relief valve would dump out. So next we just take off the cover. This is not spring loaded, so we don't have to worry about any of that. So 1/2 inch cover. We're going to be reusing this cover here. Inside, this is the O-ring cover here, and then we'll take out the retaining clip, which should just pull straight up like that. If it doesn't, it means your checks are kind of pushing out, or it might be wedged in here. In that case, you might want to get your screwdriver and see if you could push these checks, whichever one might be pushing on this retaining clip, preventing it from coming out. But this comes right out, and this only goes one way. These 2 bars here will go up against the number 1 check valve, and the little circle part will go against the number 2 check valve. And you'll see that's little notch here. It'll prevent it from going in the other way. Can't really get it in there unless you gotta force it in there. That just slips right in, so you'll know you got it the right way. If anything, I'll show you in just a minute what happens when you know you don't got the checks all the way in. So that's the old parts there. Alright, next up we're going to take out the checks, which I made up the 12-21 rule, where first check out, second check out, second check in, first check in. That's because in most cases you cannot get the second check out without taking out the number 1, and you can't get the number 1 in without putting the number 2 check in. So we're going to take out the number 1 first. Slide that out, and then the number 2 has a little ridge right there that you can get a screwdriver in and just plow that out. Or if you want to do it the other way, you don't even want to work it, it might be stuck or something, shut off the number 4 test cock, open up your number 2 shutoff valve, and it'll blow that check right out of there. Sometimes you guys should know by now, get a set of Leathermans. It helps with almost every single job, and that pops out like that. And just in case you want to see what these look like, so number 2 check, you can tell the difference by the little notch here. Number 1 check, spring load is pretty much the same there since it's a double check. And just in case you're doing a rubber kit rebuild today, I'll show you real quick how these come apart. So these are spring loaded, and these turn just like 1/8 of a turn or so. So sometimes you could grab them by hand, sometimes you need a pair of channel locks. I use channel locks just so I could hold on to the cover when the spring pops. So you just twist it to the right and kind of work it up there. And then that comes out. That's the seat there. And then check this. You can kind of see why it failed there. A bunch of debris in there and everything. Spring and then O-ring. Don't forget to put this the new O-ring back right in that cover if you are doing a rubber kit rebuild. You'll remember this one probably, but there is this one here that goes in. That helps seal this cover back in there. So just in case you're doing the rubber kit rebuild, that's pretty much all there is to it. Same with the number 2 check. Alright, we got everything out here. I like to feel around to make sure that we don't have any nicks or anything that's going to prevent from the new checks getting in there or even tear our O-rings. So we'll do our clean and flush. Again, kind of work out any debris that might be in there. Starting to run clear and everything. Pretty good for a fire assembly. Usually you see that water running pretty rusty for a little bit and a lot of debris, so everything looks good. So we'll start our rebuild. Alright, so we're taking, this is our new hardware kit, replacement kit, complete rebuild. They call it a lot of different things depending on where you buy your backflow material at. It comes with grease, which actually Watts assemblies don't often come with grease, so you're lucky. So I just bring my own here just in case I need more, or it didn't come with it. So I prepared to bring that one because I didn't think it would come with grease. So you got the second check right here, first check right here, and the retaining clip. So you got everything there, complete rebuild. So that 1221 rule is saying first check out, second check out, second check in, first check in. So we're going to start with the number 2 check. And take that out, set the trash aside. We'll open our grease. Scoot a little bit there and then run it along the outside O-ring. Looks good there. And that's going to go in just like that. So make sure you're putting it in the right way. Water's flowing this way, so it's going to go and push that check open backwards, and then don't push on the check. Just go your finger all the way across the check, pretty much touching the bottom of the inside of the valve, and then just push it in. But first, I forgot that I shut the number 4. You want to make sure that test cock is open. Push it in all the way in and kind of lock that seal. You could close the number 4 test cock again. Now we have to do the number 1, which the number 1 will have the valve cover O-ring as well. Again, let's grease it up. Okay, so same thing, grease up that. Again, the water's coming in this way. It's going to push that check open to get past it, so we know it goes in this way. So you got to kind of face it down, then turn. Make sure again that number 2 test cock is open, so you get all the way in there. And then to kind of hold that seal in there, we could shut number 2 off. And then, like I was saying before, this could only go in one way. So this faces the number 1 check. This side will face the number 2 check. And it should slip down there nice and easy like that. If you're going down and it's hitting the number 1 check right there, these 2 bars, say you got these 2 in their slots in the grooves in here, and this part is hitting the number 1 check or even the number 2 check, and it's not going all the way down because it's hitting either check, that means your checks are not all the way in. So take that back out and we work on make sure they're going in nice and even. But they are in all the way. this will go straight down without any problems at all. And then we'll go to grease up our valve cover O-ring. And there's a little groove that is on the body of the Watts 009. So that will sit right in there. And then we'll go to make sure your test cocks are all facing the right way. Go to putting the valve back on. Remember, with these bolts, screws, anything like that, start them all a few threads by hand to make sure you're not cross-threading anything, unless you want to have a bad day. And nice and snug. Remember, this is cover is sealed by an O-ring, so you don't have to go too crazy on the tightness of those bolts. I would say if it starts leaking after that, then go ahead and tighten a little bit more. Okay, so with returning water service, I like to leave the number 2, 3, and 4 test cock open. I use a pair of channel locks, gives me a little more control of that ball valve, and then it goes nice and slow. You don't want to blow out anything or introduce more debris, so you open it. So now the number 2 bleeds out. You see it's clear, no debris, no air. Shut it off, and then let it fill the zone area. Let it bleed all the air. Shut it off. Then number 4, shut it off. Now we're ready to open that all the way. Now I'm not going to open up this number 2 yet. We're not in a rush to get the water back on, so we'll go ahead and perform the backflow test. I'll show you the field test procedure for the double check valve assembly. All right, so we are done with the repair, so we're going to test the double check valve assembly. And the first thing we do, we've already done that since on the repair, but we'll go over it again. NIIO, notify, identify, inspect, and observe. I'll go over it later in another video, kind of explaining what those items mean. So we got a gauge here. I usually use a smaller gauge, but I chose to go with this one so you can see it a little better, where the low bleed is, the high bleed is. The low side control, high side control. This says vent, but it's the bypass control valve. So if you happen to have one of these gauges, it's harder to take these off. So when you're doing a double check and you're in the testing lab or something, or out in the field, you want to wrap other hoses, the high side hose and the low side hose, around the gauge. I would suggest if you have a different gauge like the 845s or something, removing just your low side and your bypass off there so it doesn't get in the way. So they have to be wrapped around, or they're just completely off. So let's get the testing. We did already bleed, but let's go through the normal stuff here. So we're going to bleed number 2 test cock, number 3 test cock, number 4 test cock, and we bleed the number 1. Just that's procedure there. It doesn't matter which order you bleed those in. We're not doing an RP, so we're not worried about dumping that relief valve or anything. Just want to bleed them out, get the air, and get the debris out of them. So now let's set up here. We got our bleed valve arrangement, which actually got a bunch of parts on Amazon, and we could get these, build these for pretty cheap. So that bleed valve arrangement will go on the number 2 test cock. And I'll go ahead and hook up my high side hose to that bleed valve arrangement. Make sure that is off. We're good. And then we'll take our sight tube, which I also was able to build off Amazon for pretty cheap as well. That will go to the number 3 test cock. And one thing, I'm just showing a demonstration here, but if these test cocks are on top of the backflow assembly, which above the check valve, when you get more experience, you can test without the sight tube there, and be able, if you could visually see what's going on with the test cock here, then you don't need to test the sight tube. But that's just for future reference. If somebody ever asked, like, do you need a sight tube if the test cocks are present on top of the backflow device? Technically, no, you do not. So First, we'll open up the number 2 test cock and establish. Okay, we established pressure to our gauge, which will reach the high side of that. So we'll go ahead and bleed the high side. Close the high nice and slow. Then we'll fill our sight tube. I like to do it just below the top there. Once that is filled, then we shut off the number 2. That's already done because we just did that repair. And then at this moment, we want to bring our gauges to in line with the top of that sight tube there. And then we'll go down to shut off the number 1 shutoff valve. And now we'll open in the number 3 test cock. Now this is the test for the number 1 check valve. Open it all the way, make sure both of them are all the way. And we'll watch our gauge and watch our water column. Right now our gauge is setting about 2.4. We'll double check here. It looks like we're down to a slight drip, almost completely stopped. So that's what we're looking for in the tube. This has completely stopped here. We're looking at 2.2, which is more than passing for the first check valve. First check valve needs to be holding at 1.0. So now we will shut off our number 2 test cock, number 3 test cock, and just simply move our equipment down to test the number 2. Number 2 check, sorry. So the sight tube goes on to the number 4 test cock. And bleed valve arrangement and everything will get shifted down to the number 3 test cock. Okay, so now we want to do the number 2 check. Turn on the number 1 shutoff valve. Open up the number 3 test cock. Bleed high. Fill our sight tube. Shut off the number 1 shutoff valve, or I'm sorry, first raise your gauges to the appropriate level, which is at the level at the top of the tube. Shut off the number 1 shutoff valve. Open the number 4 test cock. Wait for the needle to stop and for our tube to come to a slight drip or completely stop. Looks like we're holding at 1.1 there, so that's good. A little low, so I actually might take this back apart just to rework that second check. But 1.1 is still passing. Next thing we want to do once we get our final reading is shut off our test cocks and give the customer water. Do that before you disconnect anything at all. The most important thing is getting water to the customer, and that is how you test the double check. Make sure to remove all your equipment and take it with you. First, in the field, you don't want to leave your equipment at your last job. Second, in the testing room, when you're during your test, on your hands-on test, if you don't remove your equipment and turn the water back on and stuff, you can fail that procedure. So keep that in mind. And that's it for the double check valve. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and stay tuned for the next one. Thank you.